This is Jeb Boone with ESFI, and I'm speaking with Chris ChanmanV Chan, the host of Climbing the Ladder and Pro Corner. How you going? How's it going, man?
Going well, man. This tournament's awesome, and being in Austin I haven't wiped a smile off my face since I've been here, so I can't complain, man.
For those who don't know, could you tell us a bit about your two shows and your goals for each show? Climbing the Ladder is more educational based, and Pro Corner is more of an interview type show.
Sure, yeah. So I got two shows, Pro Corner and Climbing the Ladder. Pro Corner was the first show I started in December of last year, and it was really focused on having pro gamers come on and really talk about strategies, whether it was live games or replays, and really having the viewers learn a few tips from them. And then I started Climbing the Ladder in I think May of this year, and Climbing the Ladder was really all about having folks from the industry come and talk about just their vantage point of the industry. And there were a lot of conversations I felt like that were going on offline, and I thought it would be amazing to have them, just kind of public and having just an open discussion about a lot of things that, people usually didn't talk about, in the open.
Do you think those industry insiders have shed light on sort of the the backstage scene of esports for people who may not have known before?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're pulling the curtain. There's this huge secret that's going on. There's nothing like that. I mean, it's just a lot of misconceptions that might have been going on in the community that it's nice to clear up so that so the community has a real understanding of what's going on in the industry, and that their expectations might not be too low or too high. So I think it's just all about just finding out the truth about things. So.
And what about Pro Corner? Is that mainly just trying to get people on after tournaments and discuss strategy and things like that?
So for Pro Corner, not really. I mean, I kind of try to keep a mix in Pro Corner. I try to keep a lot of very popular players that have a lot of fans, have a lot of viewers, and I try to mix that in with players that don't get that much exposure, and particularly folks that have great runs in tournaments. The tournaments sometimes, not the tournaments, but the teams sometimes don't do a great job of really highlighting these players and really, I guess, really capitalizing on these runs and trying to get them exposure. So I try to do my best for that, for those players, and try to get them as much exposure as I can.
Who's some of your favorite people that you've had on Pro Corner so far?
My favorite people, just personally, or do you mean just from
just personally? Yeah.
Personally, I have this I always talk about this on the show. I have this list I had in my head when I first started the show, and so some of my favorites have been TLO. I think the TLO, the announcement show that I had with TLO, that was an amazing show. I mean, he's a wonderful player, and talking about strategy with him is just the most fun you can possibly have. So those shows, some of the coaching shows I do with whether it's Axe Lab or Machine and those guys, those are a lot of fun too and entertaining.
I've seen multiple Reddit threads now that talk about your show not getting enough exposure and how everyone should be watching and tuning in. Why do you think that is? Are you competing with other similar shows, or is your content just not out there enough?
Well, that's actually a good question. And I've seen those Reddit threads too, and I actually appreciate the people that start those threads, the people that actually comment in those threads and have feedback. And I think the biggest thing for me is it's a couple things. I think when I first got started doing Pro Corner, it was just kind of a fun kind of hobby. It's just let's just see what happens, type of thing. And I was just kind of refining it as I went. And when it comes to a lot of things, it's all about first impressions. And when I first got started, I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm sure I've watched some of the past shows before, and they're just kind of funny and kind of awkward, to be honest with you. So I think first impression, those guys just haven't come back and watched it. So I think over time, it's just I've been getting a little, just the following's just been kind of growing slowly. But I think it's part of that, and I think the format that I've had with Pro Corner has always been focused on one race at a time. So there's only a third of the, it's kind of the third of the viewership was really focused on during that episode. So, so it's a little bit about format, a little bit to do with myself, but I still believe in the format. I still believe that people want to hear, about hear tips from pro players, and that's going to be the best place to get it from is from an actual pro, and the people that are doing the best right now, right? So I still believe in that. So I still believe in Pro Corner.
With Climbing the Ladder, you said that part of that show is to kind of get a behind-the-scenes look in the industry. The types of people that you've had on, what kind of expectations have they had? Do they push back against you a little bit with the sort of topics? Are they guarded a bit, or do you feel like they're more open?
No, I mean, for the most part, I think they've been amazing. I mean, they've been very honest, and I appreciate the honesty, and they've been very open about it, because I try my best when I pick my guests and when I kind of try to formulate the episodes to, obviously to pick the right, to pick certain people. And, I talk to them. I tell them, like, hey, if there's anything we talk about that's on the show that you feel uncomfortable answering, just tell me, even on the show live. And I think because of that, there's this comfort level, I think, entering in the show. And what ends up happening is the episode just turns into a big discussion that just like me, you, and whoever would just be sitting around just talking about esports and just talking about like some of the things that we can do to improve the industry.
Do you think the discussions have been pretty constructive so far? I know that your show often gets put up against big controversies in other shows, like Inside the Game, or something happens on State of the Game and yours kind of takes a back seat. Are discussions on your shows more constructive?
That's a good question. I mean, all those shows that you just listed, I mean, they're doing what they're doing, and I think we're doing something completely different. From a constructive standpoint, I would like to think so. I mean, again, that's kind of like the main reason we're doing the show. I mean, or at least I felt like there was a necessity for the show. And so, yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, I've heard from a lot of industry folks that enjoy the show. They learn a few things, from the show. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say yes to your question.
Where can people find you on Twitch and Twitter and things like that?
Yeah, so my Twitter account is twitter.com/ChanmanV. And the stream URL and Twitch account is twitch.tv/ChanmanV. And the shows are Tuesday, Thursdays. Climbing Ladders on Tuesday, 4 p.m. and Pro Corners on Thursday, 4 p.m.
Great. Thanks so much, Chris. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.